Welcome back, everyone. Thanks for joining us for another deep dive.
Good to be here.
Today, we're taking a look into the future, specifically the future of U.S. air power.
Right. There's been some big news.
Exactly. We've got the unveiling of this new F-55 and also a major modernization making the F-22 into the F-22 Super.
Two pretty significant developments happening almost side by side.
For sure. And we've gathered info from quite a few places: Army recognition, the War Zone, 1945, the National Interest, Air and Space Forces magazine.
The usual suspects for this kind of topic.
Yeah, plus some interesting threads over on Reddit's Less Credible Defense, and even a YouTube transcript from Pilot Photog.
Interesting mix.
So our mission really is to unpack all this. What does it mean for air dominance? What's the tech involved? And, what's the bigger strategic picture here?
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
Definitely feels like a key moment. Seeing both brand new designs and major upgrades to existing cornerstone platforms.
It really does. Okay, so the big announcement itself, that was May 14th, 2025. President Trump over in Doha, Qatar.
Doha. Okay. Interesting choice of location.
Yeah, apparently it was during a U.S.-Qatar business and defense summit. So aerospace trade talks were kind of the backdrop.
Makes sense. Ties the tech development into the geopolitical landscape right away. Middle East partnerships are always key.
And the main focus was definitely future air power, future capabilities, and giving an update on the Next Generation Air Dominance Program, NGAD.
Right. NGAD is sort of the umbrella for a lot of this next-gen thinking.
Okay, let's dig into the F-55 first. They're calling it a super upgrade to the F-35 Lightning II.
Super upgrade is quite the term.
It is. So what makes it super? What are we looking at under the hood, so to speak?
Well, the descriptions point to a twin-engine design. That's a pretty big difference from the F-35 right there. Suggests, more power, maybe more range or payload, definitely redundancy.
Okay, twin engines. What else?
Superior stealth is mentioned, even better than current tech. Plus, advanced avionics and next-gen data fusion, and this is the big one, propulsion capable of hypersonic speeds.
Hypersonic. Wow. Okay, that's a leap.
It is. It potentially changes engagement timelines dramatically.
Yeah.
Its role seems pretty broad to air dominance, obviously, but also electronic warfare and operating deep inside those contested network environments.
That YouTube source we looked at, Pilot Photog, kind of touched on this idea of American innovation, taking something good like the F-35 and just souping it up.
Yeah, like the muscle car analogy. It fits, in a way, taking proven tech and pushing its limits.
But hypersonic isn't just souped up. It feels fundamentally different.
Oh, absolutely. It impacts everything: survivability, strike capability, how you even plan missions. And the twin engines likely address any lingering single-engine concerns for certain high-threat scenarios. The advanced data fusion part also highlights how critical it is for the pilot to just know what's happening instantly.
Okay. Shifting gears a bit, let's talk about the F-22 Super.
Yeah.
This is taking the Raptor, already an icon.
A legend, really. Top-tier air superiority fighter.
And making it super.
Okay.
So it keeps the maneuverability, keeps the stealth. But what's new?
Right, they're building on that foundation.
Yeah.
Key things mentioned are a new radar-absorbent coating, making it even stealthier.
Yeah, harder to paint with radar.
Exactly. An upgraded ASA radar, too.
Yeah.
More capable, probably better range and discrimination. Then there's AI-assisted pilot systems.
AI in the cockpit. What does that actually mean for the pilot?
Well, likely reducing workload, helping manage complex sensor data, maybe suggesting tactile options. Think decision support in high-stress moments.
Okay. What else for the Super?
Increased weapons payload, carrying more missiles or bombs. And extended range, which is crucial, especially thinking about the Pacific.
You're right.
The overall goal seems to be keeping the F-22 relevant and lethal well into the 2040s. So it works alongside the F-55 and whatever comes next from NGAD.
That 1945 piece really hit on Lockheed Martin wanting to supercharge the F-22 fleet, didn't it? They used that Ferrari analogy.
Yeah, turning it into a Ferrari by injecting some of that NGAD tech they've been developing. It's a smart way to leverage R&D. Even if they aren't building the main NGAD fighter itself, it gets advanced capability into the fleet faster.
So this F-55, the F-22 Super, it all fits into this larger NGAD picture, this family of systems idea. Can you break that down a bit?
Sure. NGAD isn't just about one new fighter. It's really a shift in thinking. It's a network.
The network.
Yeah. You've got manned fighters, maybe the F-55, maybe a later 6th-gen platform. But you also have support aircraft, unmanned drones, these collaborative combat aircraft, or CCAs.
Ah, the robot wingman concept.
Pretty much. And it's all tied together with advanced command and control, powered by AI, using cloud-based systems, so it's less about one silver bullet plane.
And more about the whole team working together, manned, unmanned, all connected.
Exactly. It's about creating an adaptable, resilient combat ecosystem. The CCAs could fly ahead as sensors or carry extra weapons, all controlled from the manned fighter. It's a force multiplier. And the main driver is countering peer adversaries, like China and Russia.
Makes sense. And the big aerospace players are all involved. Boeing, Lockheed, GE.
Absolutely essential. You need their expertise, their tech, their manufacturing capacity to actually build this stuff at scale and, keep it somewhat cost effective, or at least try to.
Plus the jobs and economic boost, that's usually part of the justification too.
Always a factor in these massive defense programs, lots of high-skilled jobs.
Okay, let's circle back to the F-22 Super specifically, because it sounds like this isn't just a plan. The modernization is actually happening now for the current Raptors.
That's right. We're seeing reports of over $1 billion already invested in upgrading the existing F-22s. So the F-22 Super announcement might just be putting an official name on these ongoing efforts.
And the sources dig into some specifics. Let's talk sensors first. The War Zone, Air and Space Forces MAG. They mentioned successful flight tests by Lockheed in 2024.
Yeah, 6 tests focused on advanced sensors. The details are, classified mostly, but the goal is clearly to see farther, track better, identify threats earlier, give pilots that decisive edge.
And then there's this IRST thing, infrared search and track.
Yeah.
IRDS.
Right. Infrared search and track and infrared defensive system. This is a big deal for the F-22.
Why is that?
Well, IRT gives it a way to find targets passively, just by looking for their heat signature. Really useful against stealthy aircraft that are hard to spot on radar. It doesn't give away your own position either, since you're not blasting out radar signals.
Okay, so stealthy detection. And the IRDS.
That's more defensive. It helps detect incoming missiles by their heat signature, giving the pilot warning. Lockheed mentioned it boosts survivability and lethality. They're testing both podded IR systems and an embedded one called Tackhurst.
Gotcha. Another thing mentioned was range, especially for the Pacific. The current drop tanks aren't stealthy, right?
Correct. They compromise the F-22's low observability. So this low-drag tank and pylon program is developing new underwing tanks that are stealthier and detach cleanly. Lets the F-22 fly farther without giving up its stealth edge when needed.
And helmet-mounted targeting. It's kind of surprising the F-22 doesn't have that already.
It is a known limitation. Many other fighters have it. It lets the pilot aim weapons like the AIM-9X just by looking at the target high-off bore sight shots.
So they're fixing that.
Looks like it. They've been testing systems like the Thales Scorpion HMD and a new next-generation fixed-wing helmet. That's a crucial upgrade for close-in fighting.
Okay, moving inside the plane. This GRACE system, Government Reference Architecture Compute Environment. Sounds computery.
Yeah, it's basically a major upgrade to the F-22's brain. More processing power, better pilot interface, and importantly, it's an open architecture. Meaning, it makes it easier to plug in new software and hardware later on, even from different companies. More adaptable for future upgrades. Less vendor lock-in.
Okay, that makes sense. And navigation and IFF upgrades, too?
Yep. Enhanced GPS using the newer GPS-3 satellites, plus better inertial guidance for when GPS is jammed, that's the LN351 EGIM, and Mode 5 IFF, which is the latest secure system for telling friend from foe, essential in a crowded airspace.
And we saw that mention of F-22s potentially flying with AI drone wingmen.
Right, connects back to the CCA concept. Teaming manned F-22s with AI drones would be a huge force multiplier. Extends their reach, their sensors, their weapons. It's definitely part of the future vision.
So with all these upgrades, what about the F-22's retirement? There was talk of retiring them around 2030.
Yeah, that timeline seems to be shifting. Air Force officials sound much more focused now on modernizing the fleet to keep it viable. The airframes themselves are good into the 2040s, structurally.
So the super upgrades are basically extending its life significantly.
It certainly looks that way. It's becoming the bridge to whatever NGAD fully delivers down the road.
And the engines. Pratt and Whitney are keeping those F-119s running.
They are. Big $1.5 billion sustainment contract for the next few years. Plus, they're working on software updates to actually increase thrust.
More power.
Potentially, yes. And they're using this thing called usage-based lifing, UBL. It tracks real-time engine wear data.
To do maintenance smarter, save money.
Exactly. More efficient maintenance, potentially longer engine life, less cost over time. It's about maximizing the value of the existing fleet.
It's interesting, listening to the chatter online, like on Reddit. There's always this F-22 versus F-35 debate.
Oh yeah, that never stops.
F-22 seen as the pure air superiority, dogfighter speed, climb, maybe better radar, while the F-35 is the network sensor node, multi-role king.
That's the common view. F-22 for air-to-air dominance, F-35 is the quarterback connecting everything, doing lots of different jobs. They really have different design philosophies, different strengths.
And restarting the F-22 production line. That's pretty much off the table, right? Too expensive.
Yeah, the consensus seems to be overwhelmingly, yes, it's just prohibitively costly. The lines are gone, the workforce dispersed, the money's better spent on NGAD and upgrading what we have. You won't see new F-22s being built.
Okay, so pulling this all together, the F-55 announcement, the F-22 super program, it's a massive push by the U.S. to stay ahead in air power.
No doubt about it. And announcing it in Qatar really signals the link between the tech, the strategy, and global partnerships.
It's a commitment to maintaining that technological edge, especially with potential adversaries like China rapidly advancing their own stealth fighters like the J-20.
Precisely. The F-22 upgrades are that bridge to NGAD, keeping a very capable fighter relevant. But the question lingers. Will even the upgraded F-22 fleet be numerous enough?
Which points back to needing those CCAs, the F-35s, the whole family of systems.
Exactly. It reinforces that network-centric approach.
Yeah.
Numbers still matter, and drones can help bolster those numbers affordably.
So, for you, our listener, wrapping this up, the U.S. is clearly investing heavily. We've got the F-55 coming, pitched as a major leap beyond the F-35. And the F-22 isn't fading away. It's being reborn as the F-22 Super through some serious modernization.
The goal is clear. Maintain air dominance. And the strategy is interesting, combining revolutionary new designs with significant upgrades to proven platforms, all under that NGAD umbrella.
It really highlights that future air combat isn't just about the jet, it's about the network. Manned, unmanned, sensors, data, all working together.
The F-22 gets to be an even sharper point on the spear, while the F-55 brings something potentially game-changing.
So here's a final thought for you to chew on. With all these advancements we've talked about, the F-55, the F-22 Super, the CCAs, what do you think are the biggest challenges ahead for the U.S. in actually maintaining air superiority? And where are the biggest opportunities?
It's complex, right? Technology is one thing, but there's strategy, budgets, training, countering adversary developments. Lots to consider.
Definitely something to think about. Well, that brings us to the end of this deep dive. We really hope you found it insightful, maybe gave you a clear picture of where things are headed with U.S. air power.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
And hey, if you enjoyed this discussion, if you found it valuable, please do us a favor, give it a like, maybe share it with someone else who's interested in this stuff, and definitely subscribe to the channel.
It genuinely helps us keep doing these deep dives and bringing you more content like this.
Absolutely. Your support means a lot. Thanks again for tuning in.
We appreciate you spending the time with us. Keep looking up.